Today I'm going to show you how to tie the Mecate Reins to a Bosal. There's lots of different kinds of Bosals. They come in many different shapes and sizes. Now this isn't really a crafted Bosal. This is more of just like a Western bitless bridle or a training hackamore, and it just has some rope reins on it. And then here we have a rawhide Bosal, two of them here, and I'll show you, if a horse's nose is a little bit sensitive to it, or if maybe the braiding is a little bit roughed out, then you can wrap it with electrical tape. Now I want to show you the difference though. You want to make sure when you get a hackamore, the size and the width is going to vary depending on what you're trying to do. But one thing to be sure of is that you want to have a rawhide core. So I'll show you the difference on these three. So this one, if you look at the bottom at the knot, you can see that there's just some leather and rawhide in there. Same thing here with this one, it's just all rawhide. But then on this one you can see some wires down in there. And so that is a metal or a wire core. And I know that in the Western Dressage Association this is not a legal hackamore to be riding in, and I believe, as far as I know, that that's the case with most breed associations, or all of them as far as I know, that the metal or wire core hackamores are generally considered to not be very humane. And so I wanted to show you for an example. That's how you can tell the difference. If you look at the bottom of that knot there, you want to see that it's all just rawhide up in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and use this one for my demonstration. I've got some nice cotton braided Mecate reins right here, and you can use the traditional horsehair Mecate reins if you like as well. And what we're going to go ahead and do, you want to hold the hackamore just like it would be on the horse, okay? And we're going to start with this decorative horsehair end, okay? Now I'm going to start by putting that right in between the two sides, and I'll wrap it clockwise. And see how I'm taking the tail and I'm going to wrap it in between the knot and where I originally put this decorative piece in. So it's going to go behind once, and then the key to wrapping the Mecate reins is keeping it really tight. Each loop you make it really tight and pull it up against the knot. Then I'm going to go in front of this decorative piece. So you just have one loop behind it, and then everything else goes in front. So I'm going to loop around once, pull it tight, make sure everything's nice and pushed down towards that knot there. I'm going to loop around again, pull it tight, and right here is the adjustable part. So depending on your horse's nose and the size of your hackamore, you can go once around, twice, 3 to 4 times, and adjust it depending on the size of hackamore that you want. So you can adjust it for each horse. So I just put 2 loops in it, and I'm going to leave it there, but you can do more if you want to. Then, to make the reins, I'm going to pull this through, and a good rule of thumb is to make your reins about as long as what your arm is from the ground. And so if I stretch my arm straight out from me, and I let the hackamore just go down to the ground without too much slack in the rein, that's usually a good rule of thumb. Depending on the length of your horse's neck, you can adjust it, but that's usually a good place to start, and then you can try it on your horse and adjust it from there. So now I've got the reins through, and they're adjusted to the right length for me. So I'm going to take the tail, and I'm going to go clockwise again in front of the reins, and make sure that gets nice and tight, and push it all down here, because I want to make sure that my reins are really secure. Then I'm going to take the tail end. I'll go down to the very end of it, and I'm going to go in between. See how I have the 2 reins here? I'm going to go in between the middle of the reins, and then it's going to go back under this piece here. This is where it gets a little bit confusing at first and can take some practice. So this is basically what's going to secure it. Now I'm going to pull this one all the way through. And you can see how it's gone around the back of the hackamore, around in between the 2 reins, and then underneath this one right here. And And then I'm going to pull this really tight. I'm going to hold the reins, I'm going to hold this tail, and I'm going to pull it tight. And make sure that everything's pushed back here. Traditionally, you should undo your Mecate reins from your Bosal every time you finish riding. For one, it does help keep the shape of your Bosal, and also it is the hackamore tradition. So when you go to undo them after you ride, I'm going to take this lead rope apart here and pull it back through the knot and through the reins. Now I'm going to wrap it counterclockwise to undo it. I'll pull the reins through. And then again, you're going counterclockwise as many times as you wrapped it around. And now your equipment's ready to go back in the tack room.